3. Okay, so this is going to be quick. I did a whole session. I've already done this once, and I forgot to turn on the camera. That was a dumb move on my part. And then tried the second time, and the batteries on the Zoom recorder died. So I see red lights on Zoom, and I see a red dot on the camera. So I'm going on the assumption that everything's working before my camera battery dies, because I had it on yesterday. I forgot to turn it off and drain the battery. I plugged it, I powered it up, but there's only about half an hour worth of charge, so I have no idea how long this is going to last. So welcome. I don't really have a whole lot to report as far as the Bold Street composition is concerned. Work and family's been very busy on both those fronts, and so it's really kept me out of the studio. As I was mentioning last week, I've been struggling with how do I approach this project, because it does seem to be getting very big very fast. I'm working with a number of challenges. First, this is a fairly large composition. It's the canvas is, I forgot off the top of my head, but it's right over here, and it looks 30 inches by 60 inches would be my guess. And so it's a fairly large composition, and I'm working with first there's that challenge. The second challenge is I haven't painted a serious composition in over 10 years, and so I'm a little bit rusty. And the final challenge is that I'm going to do this in oils, and as I have mentioned before, I've never used oils. Oils and fumes have always been a problem, and so I've always used acrylic paint. So, and then a third is how do I actually approach how do I actually approach it? Do I do an acrylic underbase? I'm going to do it in 2 steps. One is with gray tones to build up the shadowing, and then I'll do colors as a separate process. So I'm thinking at this point I'm going to do an acrylic underbase, work up the grays to determine light and dark, and then use colors to then with oil-based paint to do the rest of the canvas. So those are my challenges. Now, to kind of break it down a little bit so it's not so intimidating or overwhelming, I've decided, as I was mentioning last week, I was trying to debate whether I do sketch studies on paper, things that will never really see the light of day except for you, and work out the composition in piecemeal fashion, building by building, or do I plunge into the canvas as a whole? And sometimes working on piecemeal on the different components just drags the process out a whole lot, and then the enthusiasm for the project wanes. The other thing is that it can drain the spontaneity and the freshness of the principal project, which is the large composition. So, but given the fact that I'm working with a number of new elements that I haven't worked with in the past, I think I am going to break it down into component parts and do it on canvas, so that all that effort of studying each individual building and building it up, working out the details on the composition, the shading, the color composition of each of the buildings. I think if I'm going to go to that length, then I might as well get something out of it. So I'm going to do smaller canvases of each of the component parts, and then if I need to do all of them, then I'll do all the buildings as individual compositions, and then revisit the large composition. Or if I get to a certain point where I'm feeling fairly confident that I know how the large composition is going to work, then I'll just switch back over and start working on the large composition. So I'll play it by ear and see how it goes. Anyhow, I gotta run. I'm almost out of battery life, and yes, so not much on the painting. I'll show you what I've done next week. As far as the composition this week, it hasn't changed from last week. So the photos you see on the side of my blog are basically where I'm at the moment. So yeah. Anyhow, take care. We'll see you soon. Bye.